I want a good boys, me and Chris on the internet one day. Chris said to Neil, let's make a podcast, boy. Come on now, what do you think? Well, what will this podcast be about? Said Neil with a tear in his eye. We got stories that people tell each other from Louisiana Pie to the city of Mumbai. Oh, you mean urban legends. And the podcast was Urban Legends with Neil and Chris. You take care, y'all. Hello and welcome to this week's special episode of the special podcast with the special title Urban Legends, about the special topic of urban legends and urban legend adjacent subjects, I guess. I am an illiterate librarian, Chris Flynn, and with me, again, a very special guest, is the man whose own delve into his own family history and his own personal struggles were the basis of the computer game franchise Assassin's Creed. It's Mr.
Neil Herbert. Ironically, I'm hyperliterate, but I loathe books.
Well, there we go.
Pro-burning books in any form. Yeah.
Well, that's because you've seen what's inside them. It's a mystery to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Nothing you want to be involved in, sweetheart. Don't you worry about it.
I can do the stamp bit, stamp.
Yeah.
But if someone says, do you have this book on Napoleon? I don't know because I can't read. So I just go, I think it's in that section over there. And if they come back and go, well, that's just about cars, I'll go, it's probably been taken out then.
Well, I mean, there's a few problems there as well, isn't there, Chris? Because, I mean, he's French. You don't want to know about that.
I wouldn't know. Don't know.
Just not read about it before, so.
I've got a clue.
Yeah. I mean, because you're not able to actually, understand the spoken language very well either, are you?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
just any kind
something of a tabula rasa where all things are considered.
Yeah, just any ingestion of data at all. Yeah. Just no.
Bounces off, just refuses to work.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, Neil, I've read in your press pack that you sent ahead that after a series of flashbacks, you'd looked into your family, and it was quite an interesting history based around the Assassin's Order. Is that true? Yeah,
you mean the incredibly inconsistent and tedious plot of that series of computer games?
Of your family history?
That I stopped playing about halfway through the first one. My family history, I mean, obviously. Yeah, no, absolutely. I am the inspiration. It was Desmond Miles?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. Is he involved in the labs? I played
no, he gets killed.
There's some Vikings, and I've not woken up in a lab yet, so I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Well, no, I mean, Ubisoft took the kernel of the idea and they've kind of gone on with it. But I mean, what kind of flashbacks were you having that led you to look into your family history and realise that you were the latest descendant in an order of assassins?
Just violent murder and stealing and rapine, to be honest with you, Chris. Just, obsession with blood and violence. Okay. And that made,
And that's a family trait?
It did scare my parents a little bit when I first started, opening up to them about it, which I thought was very narrow-minded. But, so I don't know. Maybe it skips a generation.
Maybe. It's not every generation, is it?
As I theorised to my psychiatrist, I think it's just genetic memory.
Right, yeah.
He said it was signs of latent psychopathy, but no, I think it's clearly, the memory has imprinted on my DNA. That's how memory works, isn't it? It's not neurons or nothing.
And, of course, you cut off your middle, your index finger, didn't you? And started carrying a knife down your sleeve.
Well, some would say, that was showing a tendency towards the abnormal, and some sort of displaying some sort of malice. I say it's just pragmatic self-defense. If I want to ratchet up a 9-inch kitchen knife under a wizard's robe. And then remove some fingers to have it pop out. I mean, it can get a bit embarrassing if that happens when you're, say, buying cinema tickets. It's kind of difficult to explain that you're just defending yourself, as anyone should have the right to. But
yeah, if we lived in a democracy.
We live in a country full of narrow-minded people, Chris. We know this.
And is it true that you have
I'm not sure what attracts more attention, the wizard costume or the knowledge carving knife.
Is it true that you have a restraining order from all Masonic temples?
I mean,
because you see them as your enemy?
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, they are the enemy, aren't they?
Well, they are the enemy, yeah. They declared war first, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. What with their wanting order and
I'm just trying to denazify the Masonic temples. I'm taking a leaf out of the
assassins, but okay, lovely. Well, you know, I thank you for sharing your tale with the world, because the games have brought millions of people a lot of hours of fun / repetitive busy work.
I mean, I will say this: there's a lot less parkour involved in the real tale.
Really? What's there more of?
More embarrassment at supermarket tills and the like. Ubisoft had a few notes about that.
Well, it's crazy.
Let's just say it was a lot more awkward social interactions in the lab in my version of the game, and they decided to go in heavy on the assassinations in the past bit.
Do you remember doing any assassinations in the past? In your not actually. I mean, maybe in this life, I don't know, but like historically.
Yeah, I seem to. I did have a vivid recollection of.
Neil, look forward.
I did have a vivid recollection of killing Peter the Great.
Oh, really?
Did he get assassinated? Oh, now you know.
Well, apparently so.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
A couple of pharaohs. He's going to prove otherwise. Cardinal Richelieu.
Yeah. Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln, obviously. Sixth Emperor Tyrannus. Quite right. That's what I screamed at the sight of every assassination, in fact. Even the pre-Roman ones, weirdly. But that's what I believe they called, or what I call temporal echoes, Chris. Echoing both back and forward in time.
Very much so.
Again, my psychiatrist calls it a psychotic breakdown, but I think that's a very narrow-minded interpretation of the data.
But I mean...
Insists on shoehorning facts into the conversation. I don't see why that's relevant.
Psychiatry is a very, very young science.
Tom Cruise and I agree on this. It's
a very, very young. It's a very young science.
Pseudoscience.
Some would say pseudoscience, to be honest.
Yeah. Remove all their funding and put it to parapsychology, as we've discussed before. Yeah. What's more dangerous, a disordered mind or a ghost? I ask you.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you know, the ghosts are the ones which cause the disordered mind, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, yeah.
So what you know.
Indeed.
But I tell you what,
you're going to keep fixing the surface problems, or you're going to get to the root cause. Actually,
but you know,
it's a problem in this country, isn't it?
Well, the thing is,
deck chairs.
There's no money in it for big psychology to actually
pushing pills
to get a cure, is there?
Yeah.
To get to the root of these issues.
I mean, it's not like not like the church and money hunger or anything.
No,
it's the Vatican hoarding.
No, they're just keeping it there in case the poor need it.
It's just resting there, yeah. Resting there in case Jesus needs a loan. Don't worry about it. He comes down for the return. He's going to need some fucking walking around money, isn't he? Stands to reason.
Exactly.
Do you expect him to walk around? He's going to come in on a donkey or something. That's not going to fucking work in this day and age, is it?
There's one thing.
He's going to need a media blitz. He's going to need a PR team.
He's going to need security, private security.
He's going to need one of them, poker deals with a bulletproof glass.
I mean, from what I understand, the second time he's coming down, he means business, so he's going to need an army.
Yeah. Well,
up-to-date weapons. Up-to-date weapons. I'll tell you what, he'll stare China down.
Yeah. Damn right. Take a taste of this. Confucius.
So,
I'll show you the way.
The Jesus way.
Yeah. It's big. I think we've got the treatment for a fairly good movie here, Chris. I say good.
Right.
Sellable.
I mean,
I think if we go down the cult Christian route, I reckon we get this funded.
Does good mean anything anymore?
No, that's true.
not
value
really.
judgments have become quite perverse.
Yeah, well, I think let's bang up a 5-page treatment.
Yeah.
Get it over to
the Vatican.
Jerry Bruckheimer.
Bruckheimer and the Vatican together. They said it couldn't happen. Now you realise it had to all along.
It's just been the Transformer films were just warming up.
Oh, that's the next thing the Transformer films. They've had King Arthur. Now let's get Jesus in. Optimus, I got this one. My early charge. Dude, now high five.
Yeah,
then he spin kicks Megatron away. Yeah, I don't see any possible reason why not.
So, Neil, would you like to know what we're talking about today? When we're not brainstorming hot Hollywood action films.
Yeah.
So we are talking about the Goatman of Pope Lick.
Ooh. Where's this cheeky little fella come from? So, is this a cryptid or half human, half animal person?
Yeah,
a bit both.
Well, yeah. Well,
or is he just like an animal?
No,
because Pigman's kind of like a bit human, bit.
Well, I'd say it's a cryptid.
No, they're all cryptids.
Yeah,
but only some of them. Only some cryptids are half human, half animal.
Yeah, so this one kind of has like body of a human, head of a kind of goat demon.
Okay. Not too shabby.
So I'm going to.
So you probably would have got him, employed in Happy Shopper back in the day.
Yeah, I mean,
certainly seen worse work in the
Black Eyed Kids and that. Yeah, so I'm going to be reading a very well put together and in-depth article by Laura Allen from October 2018 on ranker.com.
Excellent.
So,
doing the work for us. Thank you for that, Laura.
Yeah, thanks, Laura. I assume that's why you put this together, really. So,
yeah, so someone else could put it to a different medium and just use it as base their own podcast.
I assume that was it. So it's called if you want to look it up, it's called The Pope Lick Monster is no mere urban legend. He has an actual body count.
Ooh, that is a strong start.
That is a strong start, isn't it?
That isn't aim playing games. This better deliver, but I like the cut of your jib.
I'm going to have a look at what more of Laura's stuff because she instantly has drawn us in there.
This is the opposite of Tin the Yowie Man. Name starts strong. Ordinary name, Laura whatever. I can't even remember his name.
Laura Allen.
Tin the Yowie Man, I remember that.
Laura Allen.
He's just slagging off lakes. Laura Allen comes in straight like Jesus with a roundhouse kick to the face.
Roundhouse kick to a Decepticon's face.
Yeah.
That one that turns into a gun or something.
Yeah.
So, before we start laughing at the Pope Lick Monster urban legend for its name, keep in mind that people have actually died searching for this monster. As far as creepy cryptids with body counts go, the Pope Lick Monster has been luring people to their doom for decades. And enthusiasts are still flocking to his bridge that runs over the Pope Lick Creek. Whether or not you believe in scary urban legends like this, the train that passes over his supposed abode is very real and can be very deadly.
So this sounds like it could be more a tale of people being lords of their own death by their own stupidity.
Yes.
I mean, it's a good start these days.
But isn't that all folk tales?
Well, there you go, that's true. And an actual body count, though. So that's good. Well, it's not good, I suppose. But,
all right, Mr. Morgan.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't know.
You've been listening to Placebo again?
Entertains me, then fair enough. Yeah, always listen to Placebo.
Because you're a Nancy boy.
Yeah.
Right. Great song, to be fair.
Very tall drummer.
Really? Did you meet him?
But quite a short front man. No, never met them.
Brian Malco's quite short, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you met him. Yeah, I met him back in the day. He's hanging.
It was possible in 90s Brighton. It's always, went some weird gigs back in those days.
So, there are several monster legends from Kentucky, but this particular one is downright confusing And I've kind of looked ahead at just some of the headings, and it's all kind of loads of different theories about it.
Promising.
Some tales say he started as a circus freak or was the product of a sexual relationship between a farmer and one of his sheep, both equally compelling.
Oh, and both like Gary Busey's origin story. I believe that was how he originated.
Some say he kills with an axe. Others say he lures you into the darkness, never to be seen again.
I mean, they're not mutually exclusive, are they?
No, but I guess it kind of depends what kind of, if it's rush hour or whatever kind of day it is.
He's just adaptable. Do you know what I mean? If he's got an axe handy, he'll make use. If not,
Well, do you know what? I like that. I'm liking this guy already because I'm sick of these one-trick ponies.
No, it's good moxie. Good hustle, Pope Lick of whatever. You need a more catchy name. That's what I'm going to say.
As the planet is learning to its cost because of humans, adaptability really is key.
Well, is it just nature fighting back, Chris?
Yeah, or is it just a child of a farmer who fucked a sheep?
How much of the coronavirus death could be put down to hauntings? Well, a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B.
So, one thing,
impregnating corporeal spiritual matter? I don't know.
I'll give it a fucking good go, mate.
Yeah, I bet you would.
It's been a while. One thing that all the legends do say, however, is that this monster wants to trick you into coming close and then it'll kill you. And if you do venture onto his bridge, rest assured, even if he doesn't get you, a speedy train may still be your undoing.
See, that's good as well, because he's got you both coming both ways there. So your average troll, they're going to live under some abandoned bridge.
Yeah, what's going to happen? Can be hit with a bit of
hit you with a hammer, and then you just run off, or a knight will come along and slay him.
Yeah.
Whereas if he sees a knight coming, it's like, by the way, there's the...
Or the thing with trolls is you just...
York Express or something and run you down.
You just keep going, don't eat me, the next guy's next much bigger, so that'd be better for you. And then you just keep saying that until the guy's big enough that he just brains the troll.
Yeah.
As Billy Goat's Gruff has taught us. So he's part human, part sheep, part goat, and all weird.
Human, sheep, goat. Okay.
So what exactly is a Pope Lick monster anyway? He's described as being a large, mysterious creature, like a very tall man. Oh, I'm
wondering which bit's goat, which bit's sheep, which bit's human.
Got the head of a human, body of a sheep, tail of a goat.
Genitalia?
Genitalia of a crow.
Cloaca, nice. All things to all people.
So he is said to be part goat or part sheep, sometimes both, and is usually depicted as having ram's horns. Various other parts of his body may look more human, with him having claw-like human hands, which I think is a very human trait, isn't it? Claws.
I mean, sometimes if I can't be bothered to cut my nails, they can get a bit claw-like.
I thought that was your look. Really long nails.
Try and style it out as fashion.
Just dip your fingers into a pot of paint.
Bacon fat in there. Give it a nice shine.
Hands or a human chest, much like a goat version for a minotaur or minotaur. Those who tell the story also say his body is deformed, with his skin deathly pale and his hair greasy and snarled. That being said, it's impossible to know for sure because the Pope Lick monster has no confirmed sightings. That's a shame, isn't it?
Where's the photographic evidence?
He is more often seen as just a strange shape in the woods, so that's picking up again. And instead, people tend to find the remains of animals he has killed. Even then, legend of what he looks like persists in him sort of being a freakish goat man. So the legends legend tells of a literal circus of horrors. The most popular origin legend of the Goatman, aka Pope Lick monster, has a rather strange and sad story. Supposedly, there was a man named, and you're going to like this, Colonel Beauregard Schnitzit.
I don't know. Colonel Beauregard. I mean, that's was he a Confederate colonel by any chance?
I think he might be.
Yeah.
Schnitznicht. Yeah, Schnitznicht. So Colonel Beauregard Schnitznicht.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a weird one to make up to feel it, isn't it? Who was the ringmaster of a rather twisted travelling circus. He was not known as a kind or decent man, and was said a liar and a cheat, who mistreated his performers. He ran his circus more like a gang, and thieves followed the show wherever it went. His main motivation in life, above all else, was money, and he was always searching for a new scam in order to get it in.
I mean, I can't imagine, like, too many 19th century carnies were exactly models of ethics and probity. Are we talking about 19th century?
Doesn't say.
It's hard life, isn't it? Hard life, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a hard life. But
take your money where you can.
Well, yeah, I know, but maybe you're in it because you want to entertain. You're being too cynical.
Got to survive, Chris.
Yeah, but you can just...
Maslow's hierarchy, isn't it? You know, can't be thinking about entertaining until you've taken care of the basic needs.
Well, I mean, how little money do you think you're getting in off tickets and rides and all that kind of stuff that you can't, like, have some food and stuff? I mean, it's not like you got rent. You live in fucking tents,
well,
which you own.
Yeah. You know, he's aspiring to own
a block of flats.
Yeah.
So, one day the circus passed Beltsville, Maryland, and he came across a poor, deformed child who appeared to be half man, half goat.
Yeah, that'll be good fodder for the show, don't worry.
Yeah, he took the creature, which I think's a change from child, with him, displaying it in a freak show in order to make money. The child began to grow up, getting larger and larger and stronger, and the colonel imprisoned the poor creature in a cage where he was beaten and underfed and mistreated his whole life. The monster's hatred for mankind began to grow with every additional offence, and he began plotting an escape.
Well, hang on a minute. He's not sounding so monstrous at the moment. He's just an abused child.
Mm-hmm.
Bit fucking judgmental. That's me.
Well, I mean, what I will say...
Sorry, Laura, you let yourself down a bit here.
Yeah, I think so, Laura. I don't like the fact that you've gone from finding...
Child to creature, and now he's a monster.
In one sentence.
Yeah. I see what you've done there, and I don't approve. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't approve, Laura. I think actually you're part of the reason this monster exists in the first place. You no longer see a child. You see him as a monster, and it's just a child.
You just labelled him.
So, the creature supposedly escaped and killed its captors. There are different versions of how the creature escaped, each one just as horrifying as the last. In keeping with the circus myth, some say that he escaped and was struck by lightning on a train trestle, which transformed him into a violent monster who hungered for blood, and lightning does do that.
It does.
Scientific fact. Others say that the animal escaped from the farmers who kept him prisoner after killing the man and then fled into the woods. The most detailed account have to do with the train crash. One stormy night, the circus train where the Goatman was being imprisoned was thundering along the trestle. So that's a train bridge, basically, where your horns. When lightning struck, causing it to derail. The train crashed, killing nearly everyone inside, but the Goatman supposedly escaped. He then tore the survivors into shreds in bloody revenge, including the colonel who had kept him prisoner all those years. If that was happening...
lightning's a bit of a trigger for him, like dogs.
Well, the thing is, like, if that happens in a film or a TV show, you're all going, yeah, go on, Goatman.
Yeah, exactly. Be our hero.
It. Yeah.
And then he should turn anti-hero. We've villainised him too early, I feel.
Yeah. So even after this, his bloodlust was not sated, and he continued to seek revenge on all mankind ever since. Understandable.
More sin against the sinning, I think, still.
Yeah. Interesting enough, there's also a local Kentucky legend of a ghost train, and that the crash circus train is often thought to be that ghostly locomotive. So there's a lot going on here. So there's a lot of stories kind of tying in.
He seems to be hanging
circus
around a train bridge
Goatman.
a lot for some reason.
He does, yeah. That seems to be his patch.
Could the
Where he
Pope,
feels comfortable.
could the Pope licking goat be a train spotter, do we think?
I think it could, might well be.
I think it seems likely, doesn't it?
It does seem likely, and they're often ostracised.
Yeah.
You know,
that was what tipped him over the edge. It was like, it was bad enough all the beatings and looking half man, half goat and being stormed by society. But then when they mocked his hobby, his innocent hobby, that drove him mad into a bloodlust frenzy.
Well, you know, there's only so far you can push people, you know. It's like keep prodding and prodding and prodding, and then someone gives you a smack and then go, "Oh, why'd you do that?" Do you know what I mean?
Walk a mile in another man's hooves and you'll see what it's like.
So he hypnotises his victims.
Ooh, nice.
Probably picked that up at the circus,
didn't he? Derren Brown, then, yeah?
Yeah, very much like Derren Brown. Probably picked that up from the circus from Hypno the Clown or something.
I mean, if Derren Brown was half gay and was beaten as a child, I imagine he'd probably be hanging around railway sidings murdering people. So, you know.
Yeah, I think so.
It's nurture, not nature, isn't it?
So, rather than kidnapping children or attacking people from
Maybe
the trees...
I don't know, Chris. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Things move quite fast these days. You know, you think someone's all right, next thing you know, something's come out on Twitter that, oh yeah, I quite like doing X-File thing. I hold X-File belief. What's wrong with that? Libs. Oh.
I mean, like, look, we're not suggesting that Derren Brown does hang around on bridges, hypnotising people and killing them. Like, we're not suggesting.
I'm not suggesting you can only get sexually aroused by the taste of others' blood. I'm not saying that, but I don't know that it isn't the case. I'm just asking questions. I don't know what makes Derren Brown tumescent, and if it is, then that's a tragedy. If it is only the blood and suffering of others, yeah.
I mean, I think we probably need.
I'm sure it's something really normal, but hey.
Until he proves otherwise.
Yeah, I'm afraid. I mean, he's remained remarkably silent on this the whole way through. So, I don't interpret silence as I'm just asking questions.
Until he proves otherwise, I'm afraid these rumours will
continue to haunt it like a pan-licking ghost or whatever this thing we're talking about. You've got to come out and address them, Mr. Brown. Handle the, there's no point in spinning it anymore, but handle the bad PR. Well, this turned into a Derren Brown 8-cast request. I wasn't expecting this to...
What we're doing there is satirising the current state of social media.
I have no issues with Derren Brown.
No, I like Derren Brown. He's very good. So he hit. Rather than kidnapping children or attacking people from trees, as other violent cryptids supposedly do, the Pope Lick Goatman is much more clever. Reports say that.
Well, that's good.
I'm just reading this imaginary Derren Brown now.
Yeah. Who knows? I've never seen him in shorts. I don't know if he's hiding goat hooves down there.
Right. It's going to be hard. It's good to laugh. Reports say that he likes to lure people onto train tracks or onto the bridge into the shadows with his voice. Depending who you ask, this can either be done by hypnosis or some kind of strange siren call. If he calls you into the shadows, you will simply vanish as he leaps on you from a bridge below, above. More often, this sound will make you ignore the danger of the live train tracks and venture out onto them without a care in the world. Once there, it will be too late for you. The train will run you down. The Goatman doesn't even have to bloody his own hands in order to claim his own victims.
Oh, no, I'm in the middle of a train track.
Woo! Goo!
Oh.
What's that?
Tell you what, insurance premiums must have gone through the roof on that train bridge.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Nobody thinks of the insurance companies, though, Chris. They're the victims in this crime.
Always the victims. All they're trying to do is put a bit of money aside in case something happens to you, and then when something does happen to you, they hand it over to you.
Just try and give you some sense of, vague certainty in this crazy world,
Yeah, they take the money, and if something happens, they give you the money back to mitigate it, and that's definitely what they always do, and it's excellent that it's written into law that you have to use them for everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
People actually die looking for him, Neil. It's a shame, isn't it?
I mean, it is, because let's be honest with you, that's a shit way to die, isn't it? So I know how did he's only 32? How did Jimmy pass away? He was looking for a Lick Pope goat monster, and he got run over by a train. Oh, that's a waste of life, isn't it?
To be honest with you,
probably better, probably for the best.
To be honest, that doesn't surprise me.
What is this thing called? Actually, the Lick Pope. I keep thinking of somebody like trying to lick that.
Pope Lick, because it's called Pope Lick River.
Pope Lick,
Pope Lick Ghost Monster.
Like L-I...
Ghost Monster.
L-I-C-H. Like or lick. Yeah.
No, lick. Like licking a pope.
Oh, right. Lick. Yeah, that's what I keep getting in my head.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Just keep the image of a goat man licking a pope, and you're there. That's
goat man licking JP2.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, even if the goat man is only a legend, the deaths surrounding the bridge are very real. There are 2 confirmed cases of people dying on or below the bridge in 1987 and again in 1988. There are many injuries and close calls as well, which makes sense considering the trestle is over 90 feet high and 700 feet across.
I mean, is this just not like a dangerous place to have a train? I mean...
No, not to have a train. It's a train bridge.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to have trains?
Oh, no. Well, you're right, actually. No, it's just a dangerous place to be going for a wander, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe don't... Yeah.
Well...
How else are you going to
lead a horse to water?
You've got to do 500 words for the 14 times by Friday. Fucking murder. What else am I right about?
So, trains cross the bridge up to 25 times per day. And once you're in the middle of the bridge, there's no good way to get down from the oncoming impact. So it's 700 feet wide, right? So that's a good old... So, if there's a train suddenly coming and it's a 90-foot drop, don't know, what you can hang off the side?
I mean, is there a river? Is it like a river that's going?
It's not. It's just like more of. I mean, not that you could drop into.
If you fall off, you're dead, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike all of those action movies.
Unless you know to drop and roll.
Yeah. Or like a kendo, you can fight gravity. You can use the force of gravity against itself.
Yeah, and actually, and throw the train off the bridge.
Sorry, train, your move.
Thanks, Jesus. There was an even more recent case in 2016. A couple from Ohio went searching for the monster, and they were not able to get off the tracks when a train came rushing along. The boyfriend was able to save himself by dangling off the edge of the bridge. I'm gonna save myself.
Oh, darling, again, you're not. Yeah, that would be an awkward conversation coming back, wouldn't it?
What when well, no, because the other person's dead. So.
No, well, I mean, her family. Well, how did she die? Well, we were hunting for a mythical creature.
Just literally.
And we thought, well, best walk along this train track.
I insisted on going looking for this ghost monster. On an active rail line.
Wasn't it? And then when it came, I just kind of like dangled off the side. So I'm not really sure. I assume she got mowed down, insured.
So the boyfriend was able to save himself because he was heroic by dangling off the edge of the bridge. But even then, the train came so close that it left marks on his arm. His girlfriend, on the other hand, was struck by the train and died almost instantly. There are injuries almost every year by those seeking out the Pope Lick monster. Whether they're just thrill seekers or are following the siren's call of the ghost man, it's impossible to say. I don't think it's impossible to say.
Yeah, I mean, just don't do it, kids. I know it's a thrill ride looking for the, got to keep your cryptid hunting safe, yeah? You want to go down Loch Ness, look for a monster, that's absolutely fine. I've got no problem with that.
I mean, is there anything...
Walk along a train track where a train's about to come along.
Is there anything wrong with just like buying a pair of binoculars rather than physically going there, just kind of having a look at a distance?
You've got to draw him out there, Chris. Which, bear in mind, best case scenario, he comes along with an axe and kills you. It's another one. It's one of these things. What is it you expect to have? Either absolutely nothing. I mean, because normally, all right, go and do a thing and nothing happens. All right, fine, you're bored. Maybe you've had a few drinks. Might as well, get you out in the open there. Yeah. But not over a fucking like train track, man. Where there's trains coming down to mow you down. Especially if it happened before. All right, I'll tell you what. Mow me down once. Shame on you, train. Mow me down twice. Shame on me. That's what I say. So, you know, you've been warned, everyone. Come on. We've got to put a sign up saying, oh, for fuck's sake, seriously. Pope Lick wants to hunters, don't get on the train tracks. Just get some binoculars and have a shift there, yeah?
Yeah, but if you put that up, you'd go, that's the government trying to stop. That's the government trying to stop me going and looking for it. So I'm
tread on my whatever amendment it would be, right? Can't you see?
So, Maryland's goat monster may be linked to this monster. Strange enough, the Pope Lick monster is not the only goat monster out there terrorising folks. The Maryland ghost monster is often depicted as being similar to the Pope Lick monster, even though they are states apart. The Pope Lick monster inhabiting Kentucky. The other monster supposedly targets lovers and chases them down with an axe, scaring them and threatening to kill them.
It's like a bandage man, right? He's just like a bit of a perv, as we suspect. What was that?
Well, he threatens. He threatens to
like
kill
the Horny Woodsman or whatever it was. I forget what that episode was called. Smelly Bandage Man.
It's simply called Bandage Man.
Bandage Man, yeah.
Got to keep these titles simple so people can find them on the searchings. He also supposedly kills dogs and makes a horrible squealing or screaming animal noise. However, it has been suggested that the monsters are similar or even the same creature. For one thing, the Pope Lick monster legend said that he was originally found as a deformed infant in Beltsville, Maryland. The Maryland Goatman also lives on a bridge where he lures people to their deaths. Well, do you reckon he just goes like when the heat gets too much?
Just chance to change the scenery. I do this thing. Got this really good bar down there. There's this great bourbon that you can't get, and it's like, you know.
So whether these two are not are brothers or the same creature, completely unrelated, somehow still remains unseen. As always, Neil, there may be a link to. As always, there may be a link to local Satanists.
That seems likely.
The origin story about the monster says he was not some kind. So one origin story, about the monster says that he was not some kind of mutant or circus freak, but is instead related to satanic rituals.
It's like Baphomet, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. The tales say that he is the reincarnation of a former farmer who once used to sacrifice ghosts to Satan in order to get supernatural powers. Its new form or spirit still stalks the area.
Tell you what, those crops grew well that year.
Oh, fucking great. Good yields. Got an extra 4%. Extra 4% yield on my soya crop.
You would do, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't afford to add lime to the soil, sacrifice some goats.
Well, I've done praying 15 years and absolutely nothing happens. You know what they say,
Nah.
What's the definition of madness? Doing the same thing again, repeating the same thing and expecting different results. So, I thought I'd worship Satan one year, and what do you know?
Yeah, back when winning team.
So, sorry, God, but,
Exactly.
Customer service has been lousy this last 2,000 years.
I know which side my bread's buttered on.
And don't get me wrong, you're part of the Red Sea for me, I'd be all about it. But you've done fuck all for 2,000 years, haven't you? So, come crying at me. Nobody's going to church anymore. Put your finger out and start fucking.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure of the people who are representing you on Earth at the moment. So, unfortunately, this particular legend has gained attention from satanic worshippers. There were rumours that in the mid-70s, a satanic cult began doing demonic rituals in the Pope Lick Road area. Cats and dogs began to disappear, and it seems that they were being used in blood rituals on the mysterious Four Winds farm. I tell you what, right? Worship Satan all you want,
don't take it out,
but if you start fucking around with animals, I'm going to come in there and fucking show you a cheeky dance.
Well, yeah, all except I suspect that probably it's all bullshit, as with all of these satanic panics.
Yeah, of course it is.
Cat got run over or whatever, and it's like, oh, I must have been the Satan worshippers.
So the farm was just a short distance from the train trestle, and the Satanists who gathered there allegedly worshipped the Pope Lick monster, believing he was an embodiment of Baphomet.
There you go.
Also known as the Goat of Mendes. Even into the 90s, people could supposedly hear drum beats and chanting coming from the farm on dark nights.
I think I should bring it back. Like raves, isn't it? They're getting popular again. Bring back the satanic cults. That's what I say. Might as well.
Yeah. Raves getting popular again.
The people who used to go and raves. Satanists. That's what
raves in the 80s, and now their kids have all grown up, so they can start going and dancing in fields again. He may pretend to be your friend now.
May he? Do with a friend.
That would go down
well with me.
Yeah, it'd be all right. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of
goat lad,
really struggling.
White-sided down by the train tracks.
I'm really struggling with loneliness at the moment, to be honest. So that'd be quite nice. So I've got a pillow wife. Horrifying enough, the Goatman seems to have some form of psychic abilities, according to some tales. And it likes to play mind games. The reason we know this is because in order to lure you to its doom, it will sometimes mimic people you know. It will shout out to you, sounding like a dear friend, and you, ever trustingly, will simply follow it. It can even call out your name.
Hey, Neil.
Even if it's not calling out...
This train track. This sounds on the up and up.
Hi, Neil. Even if it's not calling out to you as a friend or a loved one, it may simply imitate other noises. It may sound like a cat or even a crying baby, which is actually what cats mimic when they're meowing. And it fucking works. The Pope Lick monster is clever. The Pope Lick monster is willing to do whatever it takes to convince you to wander out onto the deadly bridge or blow into its clutches.
I think, though, it's like, what's his end game? What's he getting out of this?
Revenge.
Revenge for what? Oh, got
further terrible abuse.
Little orphan Annie when you were a kid, did you? Banging on about it for 150 years.
Man up.
Do that everyone else, write a weepy little confessional and then go on the Oprah Winfrey show and make some money out of it.
Yeah, just start drinking really heavily.
Block out all of those bad memories. It's fine.
Yeah. It may kill you with a look or an axe. If the train doesn't get you, the Goatman still has to have ways of killing you. Some accounts say that people jump from the bridge not because the train is coming, but because they spot the monster coming at them. The sight of him was apparently so terrifying that you can't help but jump to your death. Other accounts say he's not afraid to use weapons, get tools up. Some people say that he carries around a blood-stained axe. I mean, to be honest...
I think it's quite firmly established he favours an axe.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, if it's blood-stained, you can, that's not good axe maintenance. You can end up with a dull blade.
Yeah, but maybe he likes that. Increase the pain.
Maybe, but I mean...
But yeah.
You at some point, you're going to have to get another axe.
Look after you.
The tools look after you. Perfect, exactly.
That's what you should have learned at your age.
When he uses
the spending more time at the grindstone, on son.
Yeah.
Up to you.
And that's not easy. That's literally why the phrase is keep your nose to the grindstone.
Mind you, don't literally actually do that, Chris. That's why I no longer have a nose.
That's why you've got a brass nose.
It's not just because I'm a really big fan of Tycho Brahe.
So, surprisingly, there are no reports of anyone ever dying due to an axe attack, however. So it seems that hypnosis is a go-to technique.
Sounds like a bit of bullshit,
physical violence.
Interesting.
And the only creatures he's ever known to have mutilated have been farm animals.
And so what's he got against farm animals? It's just self-loaded.
It's classic to eat,
isn't it? So, looks a bit like me.
Self-destructive. So, an alternate legend, the creature is a product of human-animal relations.
Yeah. Bloke fucked a goat. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Next question.
Sounds plausible. Yeah, next.
Of course.
I'll tell you what, that'd be a difficult birth, wouldn't it?
What?
We're giving birth to the Goatman hybrid.
I mean, it would mainly be difficult because it's impossible due to the incompatibility of the DNA, but But do you know what? Sorry, that's my school learning. That's my brainwashing.
In our current venture.
I'm trying to break all that. That's why we're doing this.
Stop being constrained by facts. Oh. If anything, the last 10 years it should have taught us.
Exactly.
Facts are an anchor that we no longer need on the merry voyage of...
Facts are the blanket for the weak-minded. Of course, not all legends about the monster have to do with a circus or a freak show gone awry. Instead, some say it has to do with a little backwards debauchery. How I do declare.
Man of fantasy and go.
Hello there.
See, I'm like Colonel Saunders looking motherfucker.
Goat's fanning itself with a bonnet on. This tale says there was a farmer that got intimate with one of its goats in a sexual way. The goat somehow gave birth to a child. The child had both goat and human characteristics. The farmer tried to hide the child, but it was of no use, and the creature eventually killed him and got out.
That must have led to more conversation with the neighbours. So, see you've a little one running around, Joe. Oh, he's half goat, I see. Yeah, okay. Well, say no more.
I mean, maybe it's not uncommon.
God's judge, not me.
I don't know. So the farmer tried to hide the child, and it was no use, and the creature eventually killed him and got out, where it now roams in the woods to this day. The bridge just happened to be one of its favourite places to stay, rather than it having any great significance.
I mean, I'll tell you what, say what you like about the Jersey Devil, but he went out early doors, didn't he? He knew society was going to frown on him, and he was just like, right,
didn't kill anyone.
Out and make some...
Straight to Broadway.
Make a living for myself. He wasn't one to hang around the bridge trying to lure people to...
He wasn't one for revenge either. But all of the spooky this and that's in the Pine Barrens are all seem quite good-hearted. So good people. In this case, the Goatman may not be out for revenge or to hypnotise you, and he is instead just following his instincts. Oh, they may not be highfalutin like you Manhattaners, the people of the Pine Barrens, but they're good people. Look after each other. And finally, local farmers are not too fond of this legend. I wonder why.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, well, to be fair, it would get tedious. It's like, there's been a... this...
Well, you've been banging a goat. Nah.
I mean, that's more stag days coming out into the wilds, I reckon. The same. Oh, God, you're there. You've got a fucking goat. Chug, chug, chug. Well, whilst having a kegger.
So like a fraternity thing.
Don't tell me it doesn't happen, Chris. I bet it does.
Of course it fucking does. Men are basically disgusting. While this legend is a fun one or a certain type of man, should I say? While this legend is a fun one to tell, especially around Halloween, locals are not always too happy about it. Attention surrounding the monster has led to monster hunters venturing onto some of the farmers' land and even causing vandalism. Goat fucker.
You'll fuck goats around here? That wouldn't go down too well, to be fair. What's the problem?
Due to this, nearby farmers may be armed and dangerous to trespassers. Good. And locals know not to mess with anyone who lives too close to the trestle. There's also rumours that the monster attacks livestock, as there's been so many animal killings over the years, they may well do whatever it takes to protect the property from man or beast. Yeah. Of course, the biggest thing that locals hate about the legend is it acts as a sort of test of bravery for teens. Yeah. They dare each other to go out onto the bridge, risking life or limb for a simple legend. So even if you want to go find the monster or prove yourself, remember to stay off the bridge. Your life may depend on it, whether it's the Pope Lick monster that gets you or just a fucking train.
That's just simple advice, isn't it? Like, don't be wandering around on train tracks where trains are still coming up and down. Abandoned rail or something, fair enough. Fill your boots.
I mean, I remember being a kid. I think I've probably mentioned it before. Just being very, very scared of railway lines because I think where I was living in South London, there were kids playing on running across the tracks and stuff and getting fucking hit by trains. So they kind of really drilled into us at school, and I had like videos and stuff.
The live rails, or you would
or the electricity can even jump, like if you go near it, and like I still don't particularly like walking across level crossings. Right, so I'm gonna have a quick look at the wiki to see what it's been in popular culture.
I mean, I would imagine Supernatural's done at least 3 episodes on this.
Let's have a look. So, in the media, the monster was the subject of a 1988 film by Louisville filmmaker Ron Charles-Necht called The Legend of Pope Lick Monster. The 16-minute, $6,000 film premiered on December 29th, 1988 at the Uptown Theatre. Most of the film was shot at the Pope Lick Trestle, but scenes showing the characters up Norfolk Southern Railroad officials were very upset about the film. I'm not going to go into that.
Well, fair enough. It is kind of, endangering people when they're already people getting killed. It doesn't sound like there's loads happening, but it's not helping, is it, I guess?
The story of the monster was featured on an episode of Destination America's Monster and Mysteries in America titled Ozarks. But it doesn't say here that it's been in stuff like Supernatural. No. I mean, I think that maybe
it's too localised.
People are still.
Or no, I don't think it's that. Transits, actually, maybe you just.
Yes, I think people are. I think people are steering clear of it because people are actually already getting killed, and you don't want to encourage people to go doing it.
Sort of litigation. If somebody was, going to say, "Well, you've encouraged this as well."
I mean, I'd like to think that it's so that you don't want people to die, but it's probably litigation, isn't it?
To be fair, it could be both. Do you know what I mean? Just cautious on both ends. But yeah, I mean, common sense as well. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, I think, you ready for Scores on the Doors, Chris?
4:00. Yeah, so, Neil, spookiness.
Yeah, it's reasonably spooky.
Phrase forwards.
I'm just thinking. It's reasonably spooky. It's there's just I'll tell you what undercuts it is just an awful lot of fucking stuff about trains in it. Which, I mean, really, what's happening here is that there's just a spot where a lot of teens, foolhardy teens, are. Well, I say a lot. I don't know. It didn't sound like there've been loads of deaths, but there's a lot of accidents and things happening. Yeah,
Enough.
Too many. Let's put it like that. But
But they're going there because of the tail.
Safety, that's spooky itself as well, isn't it, Chris? It's good. Poor abandoned goat thing. Then goes out and gets revenge. It can hit. In fact, can hypnotise you. Can make you get hit by a train or give you a bit of an axe. Yeah, triple threat. So I'll give him a 6.
6, okay. So I do think it's a bit spooky because it's out in the woods and people kind of think I haven't had time to go into it, but people kind of think they've seen it kind of in the woods and stuff. It's a pretty rural place. It's got a lot of superpowers, hasn't it? Hypnotised, you've got your hypnotism, you've got your sirens call, it's got your mimicry, kind of can just sort of appear. It's kind of supernaturally strong, acts you. I mean, I'm going to give it a 7. So, believability. So, I'm going with the tale rather than the tragedies that have actually happened in real life, because that's a 10 that they've happened, that they've actually happened. It's very. It's well known that people who were different were treated incredibly poorly, and still are, to be honest. But I mean, even worse so back in 100 years ago or whatever, and freak shows and that kind of stuff. And people would be called, the Snake Woman because someone was paraplegic or something. Do you know what I mean?
Something,
yeah. So that part of it's believable. Do I believe that do I believe in this thing? I think, no, I don't think it's very believable, to be honest. I'm trying to think of a way to make it more believable, but I don't. So I'm going to give it a 3 now.
Yeah, it's you know, at the end of the day, it's basically just unfortunately thrill-seeking teams, getting into accidents. There's the problem. I mean, what stomps on the believability a little bit, although makes it more interesting, is he's got a few too many powers.
Now you're complaining about
well,
the powers.
No, I like them for a narrative point, but it ramps down believability a little bit for me. But, you know, there's people still going out to try and look for this. So I think there's the fact that it's causing people to come out and look for it. So I'm going to give it a 5. I'm going to be a bit more on the fence with it because people are going to try and find it.
5. So reach now.
Yeah, I don't get an impression as to how kind of big this is. Obviously, it's something that I feel like it's probably more kind of constrained to the local area. I don't think that this is probably a massive one around the whole of the. I mean, it might be well known by everyone in the US, but I feel like it's probably more of a local one, and it's probably not. It's probably reasonably recent. I mean, I guess maybe 100 years old, maybe I don't know, 70 or 80. I'm not sure. So yeah, I mean, it's not got no reach, but I don't think it's one of the big ones. It's probably a 4 for me in terms of reach.
Yeah, I think it's pretty local to kind of Kentucky and maybe to people who are into that kind of stuff slightly further afield. I think that it would probably have a much bigger reach, but I think that it's purposefully not being given a particularly big reach and people aren't doing stuff about it because there's already enough of a fucking issue with it anyway because of the issue. So I'll give it a reach of 3. So narrative premise. Well, it's got a good narrative. It's got strong. I think it's got good, strong narrative. You know, the whole child stolen, goes circus. I'm choosing to believe that lightning struck the train and it went off that bridge, and then he was one of the only survivors, and then he got his revenge on his abuser. I think if you end the film at that point, you're on his side. But he can think, you know, then he continues, and you know, it's understandable. I think it's a very good narrative. And I think the premise, you know, a horn-headed man thing is nothing new.
Oh, right? It's dime a dozen.
But dime a dozen, yeah. But he has a particular set of skills which make him stand out slightly more. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to give it it's one of our better ones, narrative premise-wise. So I'm giving it a 9.
Yeah, fair enough. And yeah, now this is the other side of the coin. See, I like that he has all the powers because I think he's got a lot in his toy box. It brings unbelievability, but it ramps up the fun. So, you know, he can get involved in killing in all sorts of ways. He'll mow you down with a train. He'll sort you out with an axe. He'll pretend he's your dear old ma. You know,
it would be a very. I think if it wasn't for all the problems around it in real life, then it would actually be a pretty good horror film.
You might give one of them kind of like 80s like slasher flicks. You know, you have all sorts of ways of doing kills. Be a lot more interesting than like, you know, Jason or whatever. So yeah, I think he'd be a good slasher villain, this one. And I'm choosing to believe he got struck by lightning and that made him evil and gave him his superpowers. You know, I think that's what happened to Mel Gibson as well, actually. So yeah, I think it's quite strong. I'm not going to go quite as high as you, but I'll give it an 8.
So that gives us an overall 45. Not too bad.
Back in a bit in reach.
The narrative, the narrative premise is the strongest section of that. So that's it from this week's Urban Legend. Don't go fucking around on train tracks ever. Yeah. Your safety is more important than your curiosity. Not that I'm thinking anyone listening to this would.
Don't have a look. You never know. If you're the first one to find the Goatman, you'll become famous. No, we definitely wouldn't encourage that, Chris. No, definitely.
So if you are part of Derren Brown's legal team and you would like to get in touch with us, then our email address
I mean,
is
good luck finding any assets to liberate, by the way.
.legends.podcast@gmail.com. And beyond that, I will see you next week. I'm off to go and find a goat to keep me company. Goodbye.